We are here once again with PushPress Dan, and we have back-to-back episodes. How to buy a gym, how to sell a gym. We're going to give you everything you need to know to make a smart decision, how to avoid making a bad decision in both directions, whether you're buying or selling, because you've bought gyms. I've sold gyms.
I bought.
You've bought, and we've coached thousands along the way. So tune in if you're considering buying or selling. These are the episodes you're going to want to watch.
How many gyms do you work with right now?
Let's just say closing in on 5,000.
Do you see? You probably see the same thing that we see currently, which is like there's maybe it's abnormally high, maybe it's not, maybe we're just all looking at it and so we're biased towards it. But there's a decent amount of turnover of affiliates, and I have completely switched my thinking on this in the last 12 months. I was pretty adamant about multi-location for a long time.
You're
about not doing it.
Oh,
So you're
I was about to
changing
say
away?
you're not. You are. I'm turning more for.
I am now 4.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, I want to stay on topic, but why?
Well, I mean, it has to do with it, but I think that's so. This is why the topic is important, is because, well, number one, every affiliate owner will sell their affiliate.
Well,
So if there's 10,000 affiliates right now, that means there will be 10,000 affiliates for sale at some point.
Sell or die.
Sell or die. Yeah.
Yeah,
look at us.
right.
Look at
So-
Jiu-Jitsu Brotherhood now.
Yeah,
Finish each other's.
sandwiches. So that's why, and I think there's a lot of opportunity that, and that was a lot of what my talk was about at the owner and coaches conference.
I tuned
And,
out. I zoned out during your talk.
You didn't even
sorry.
know.
even
You didn't
hear.
even know we were at the conference. I think there is a tremendous amount of opportunity for good operators to start to maximize, number one, their impact on number of people by running better gyms, but their impact on would-be coaches to have more opportunity, and impact on themselves by maximizing their business valuation on the day that they do sell.
Yeah.
So let me kick off with an overarching topic. Cool?
Yep.
Or are you about to say something?
No. Well, I kid, but go ahead.
So
I'll still say something later.
the opportunity to purchase a gym comes along. So we had this in real time a month or so ago. The opportunity comes along and it becomes, should I buy or should I open? So let's start there. Pros of buying and maybe cons versus just opening your own gym.
I mean, the pros are pretty obvious, right? Like, so you're gonna have this could be a con too. You're gonna have an existing lease in place, and if
Which could be a bad lease,
could
right?
be bad, but if it's a good lease or a decent lease, then that's actually really good. Because if you've opened a gym, you know how hard getting a lease is. You have membership in place. You probably, this could be good or bad too. Coaching in place could be good or bad.
Right, they're all like, it's
Everything
what
in
you
place.
make it, right? Yeah.
You're
But-
also buying stuff probably 10 cents on the dollar.
I think that's a mistake. A lot of people selling their gym, and I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, Fern. It's like, hey, I bought equipment, I've depreciated it on my taxes, but now I'm asking for more than it's.
Those are two different things.
So
That's like
it's okay.
apples and oranges. Like that's not at all.
So
One
would
is
you
for the
look at,
purposes of limiting my tax liability. The other one is like this asset actually has depreciated value for the buyer, like like a car, effectively. You know,
Right. It's like you took it off Rogue, delivered it.
you can depreciate 100% of the value of a vehicle if it's over a gross tonnage, but it's not
Still
going to
has
depreciate.
value.
It's not going to depreciate 50% over the first 12 months you own it.
Gotcha. But
sorry.
going off you, Dan, I would say like there's a cost associated with all that, right? So versus the cost of opening a new gym, although there's risk now, I don't have the members to support this. There's a risk reward of, but I'm paying $200K, even though I have members, I have to earn that money back.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to depend on how you structure the purchase, right? And I think the buying price, I mean, you see this probably with HQ right now. It's like whatever the buying price is the most important thing, because the whole capitalization and the payback comes from that. I mean, if you were buying a $200K gym, they better be making $100K free cash flow.
Do you have an idea of the average sale price?
50 to 60K
Yeah.
on average. I've probably seen 150.
I think at that range it makes a lot of sense because you're probably not going to open a gym for much less. Depending on your lease.
Your direct cost, it will probably be about that. There's a bunch of indirect costs that are going to start to creep up on you, so you'll end up
Such
spending
as?
more than that probably, right? Just
Such-
like your lease, you know, like all these So like direct cost is going to be your equipment, right? Getting the facility up to speed, and then there's going to be all sorts of other kind of indirect costs. Is like if I have to, if there's zoning associated with that, like all this, it creeps.
Like the thing I would pay to never do again is a fucking parking lot study.
Right.
You know, like these are the things you have to do when you have to get the permit.
And they'll tell you how many people are allowed in your building at any time based on how many spots you have.
No, it's the other way around. Like if you have per 1,000 square feet, you have to have 4 parking spots.
Right.
And so you have a 5,000 square foot gym, you need to have 20 parking spots, and most industrials are like 1 per 1,000.
Yeah.
Then you have to get some variance by the city, and you have to go and stand in front of
So
city
You might
hall.
have to get an environmental
environmental study.
So
traffic study.
Here's something very interesting. The stats on this basically say don't start from scratch.
What
So
stats?
looking at success rates from startups to VC funded to acquisitions have the highest success rates, and it's not even
across
close.
all businesses?
Across all business. So if you look at SBA statistics, when you look at so like failure rates in SBA loans is super high. I want to say it's less than 5% success rate on startups. VC, I think, is 30 to 40%.
Oh, I bet it's way less than that.
Those are high, right? But like acquisition is north of 80% success rate. Now the question becomes
existing and running well.
The question becomes like, why is that the case? Now, I didn't get into all the statistics on like what are the variables inside of that, but my experience is that anecdotally is true. Startups versus acquisition for all the reasons that you stated, and then some. Yes, it comes with a lot of boogers and dead bodies inside of it, but it comes with a lot of structure behind it too. Whether it's bad structure or not, like it's existing, it's running. I don't have to do any of that. Like I just have to fix it now. So it's like, would you rather build a car from scratch, or would you rather fix the the carburetor?
There's a saying in tech, and this is actually like what AI solves is. It's called the cold start phenomenon, which means like going from 0 to 1 is phenomenally hard. Mm-hmm. Getting the momentum to actually get to 1, but you know it's like AI gives you a document, you're like, cool, I'll just like edit it to me, and that's so easy, right? Once you have the thing done.
Yeah.
So that's why like starting from scratch is more exciting. It's more fun. It's more you. You get to build the culture, the lighting, how you want, everything perfect. But you have to do all of that work where you can just like drop into a gym.
I don't think it sounds exciting at all. Like my nightmare.
Done it enough times, yeah.
My nightmare is rolling up to the 6 a.m. and with one person in my gym. Like that is like a recurring nightmare.
For real
that
nightmares,
I have. Like,
yeah.
No, like it's something I never ever want to experience. Like so, I think about that. I'm like, I'll take any number of other things going on inside of a gym rather than having to go through that.
Yeah, like building that first
startup is a grind, man. Like. And sometimes you got to do it, but...
Okay, so let's give some actionable. Somebody approaches either one of you and says, I'm considering buying my local box. The box I go to is for sale. What immediate questions do you have? Like they brought you no other information.
What kind of business do you want to buy?
Well,
meaning what?
Yeah, I mean, it's a CrossFit affiliate.
So this is something I've been...
You know this is a CrossFit podcast, correct?
No, yeah, I know. So let me enlighten you then.
Laundromat.
Yeah, let me enlighten you. Because the principle applies whether you are going to buy any business that maybe fit the parameters, or I want to buy a niche business. It should still fit your parameters for purchase. So what a lot of people do is they will go buy something simply because it's available, but it doesn't actually match what it is that they're looking for.
So give an example.
An example would be like, say, in my very simple version of this may be, I want to buy, a distressed asset that has low to net zero cash flow, but is operationally deficient. At which point I can say, okay, well, it's running, break even, right? So we can call this. This is a distressed asset. I know I can fix that relatively easy, and my skill set is operations. So what I need to do is I need to match this to give me maximum potential for upside in this. Instead of buying something that is that the deficiencies in the business are my weaknesses. You're not going to be able to. You're going to struggle to fix it.
No one's telling you that. We've not had many people come to us, and you can ask that question, and they would answer it. They're just like, it's my gym. So
Correct.
how do they figure that out?
Well, yeah, I think that you go through a number of exercises, like what is it that you would want to buy? Meaning, like, what are my strengths? At which point I can start to think about what it is that I want to. It's like buying a house, right? Hey, I'm going to buy a house. Just any house? I bought one.
Well, and I think what
is
you're
it a
saying,
4-bedroom? Is it a ranch? Is it have a pool? Like, so
it's like,
you want to
how
create
much
your
time do you want to put into this?
Yes.
What are your superpowers?
Right.
What do you hate doing?
Right.
And then that can at least shape the type of gym.
Or
you're
is it
running.
like, is it going to require significant capital injections over a long period of time, or is it cash flow positive and I'm happy to go do a round of fundraising, whatever that might be, 50 to whatever, it doesn't matter, but like frame the purchase first, because now it makes it easy to say yes and no. Like if it just doesn't fit the criteria, you just move it off of the table. And now if I do potentially maybe go to a broker, or I am looking around, I can ask a couple of questions. I'm like, what is this? What is this? What is this? No, get out of here. And then I go to one and I say, that one fits my criteria. And now I can start the actual process of engaging, maybe eventually get to due diligence, but frame what it is that you want first.
I think probably what can be done here. Here's the lead magnet. Actually, comment in the DMs like lead magnet or something. But there's probably a really clear framework that will work for most gyms.
Yes.
It needs to be not too much cash flow positivity.
Right.
You know, assuming that this person is a gym operator, it needs to have at least one good head coach in place. It needs to have some culture of members. Like there's certain things you can say, like these are non-negotiables, because you don't want to fix a toxic culture of people you don't know.
So that would be a non-negotiable, which is that it does not have culture issues.
Yeah.
So, but if you buy one, and well, if you've not, I was literally talking to somebody yesterday. They thought they bought a gym that where that wasn't the issue. Found out after they bought it that was the issue, and they ended up having to shut the whole thing down because it just fundamentally didn't work. And if you can just create just a basic filter on the front end to start to guide your questions, to start to guide your basically exploration process, because now
it's the diligence.
It's
like
the diligence.
When you get into diligence, you have to know what to look for.
Right, and because if I'm like, okay, I know I don't want a culture problem. I'm like, well, how are you going to determine whether there's a culture problem or not? Like, you can't just go in there once.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go in there for a month. You're going to have to go to multiple classes. You're going to have to potentially maybe ask the gym owner, if you get far enough through the process, I'd like to interview some clients.
Yeah.
I want to see what they fucking have to say. Because the gym owner's going to be like, it's awesome. Mm-hmm. This is great. Everybody pays on time all the time. And we actually have more money than what's in the bank account. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. So I think everybody just jumps the gun and they're like, how much? I'm like, what the fuck are you trying to buy right now, dude? Like, why? Like, frame that first.
Yeah.
Because what this does is this starts to really outline getting a good deal, right? Because I brought up in the talk, like, I think there's not an unlikely scenario in the future where there are more affiliates, less affiliate owners. And in a lot of instances in the M&A world, you're not looking for distressed assets. Like, I'm looking for something that like is going to have good cash flow. I think that's actually kind of the opposite in affiliates, because I think if you know what you're doing, if you're a good operator and you understand what you're looking for, you can flip them around fairly easily. And you can either do it for a little bit of cash down, maybe no cash down, right?
That's how I bought mine, no cash down.
Right. So then, and if we throw the other thing in here with regard to buying, is in a lot of instances, the seller is going to be highly motivated to sell, if you're thinking about that. So, but if you don't know that, or that's not part of the criteria that I want a highly motivated seller.
Well, let me tell you this. Anybody that tells you they're selling their gym is highly motivated, because they're just like, it's like they're ready to get out. Like, if they're at the point where they're selling their gym, they're more than likely just like, I need to be done with this.
But there's difference between, hey, it's time, I've created a great asset, and I'm motivated to sell, but I don't need to sell this in a hurry because it's giving me the things that I want, versus the opposite of that, which is somebody who would basically pay you to get rid of it because they just want to get rid of the liability. They're drowning under all of this work. Those are two different variations of motivated to sell.
No, I agree. Like, when I sold my bigger box, I was like, I really want to be done, but I'm not going to take an offer that doesn't make sense.
Right. So motivated to sell, but not pressed to sell.
I'm not going to do something stupid.
Right. So I think that's the first thing, is like, define what are your parameters for acquisition.
So somebody comes to you and they're like, I've got it. Then what?
cool. Well, now I have to go find out if those are available. And so you're looking at, is this going to be local to your market, or are you going to be doing this from afar, or are you going to pack up and move? So this starts to frame what is it you're looking for.
I guess part of this is like, what is your thesis on it if you're trying to roll up or acquire? And we're actually seeing more gyms turning into regional gyms, like owning 5, 6.
Right. I think that's when I think about what we're trying to. Yeah. I think when we're trying to start to help more and more gym owners, like that's where we're going, is to multi-location. You can make a good operator. Well, that becomes much easier to replicate now, and you have good operators that have good cash flow. They can buy things for pennies on the dollar and get, from an investment standpoint, like getting really good cash on cash return very quickly, like probably 40% in under 12 months in a lot of instances. Like that's fucking crazy if you go to to a private equity firm or VC firm, their baseline is going to be 25%, So I don't know. But so you don't want to get into the numbers. Like you do a ton of stuff before that so that you kind of understand the process and what you're looking for. And I think what it does is it starts to help you look at this through a much more objective lens. And you're not somebody who's like, I want to be passionate about a gym. I'm like, no, I'm an operator looking to start to grow an empire. And it's a different operating mindset. And
the thing is, once you build that thesis, you can kind of let it bake. And so imagine you got that thesis baked, and you can just literally put it out once a month. I'm buying gyms.
Yep.
And like every other gym owner is going to hear that and put it in the back of their head, and sooner or later they're going to be like, okay, it's time.
Hey, I'll call you.
Let me call you.
But I think also, like, if you're going to do that, you need to know how to say no. Mm-hmm. You need to know how to deselect any of those opportunities, because what you absolutely do not want is to make it to the finish line and realize that, like, you should have just said no to this deal because you think that there's never going to be another gym selling. Like, they're all going to sell. What we don't know is what timeline. All of them.
PushPress Core and Grow have this synergy when they work together that makes my life much easier as a business owner.
PushPress simplifies and makes our life easier to where we don't have to worry about anything.
The product I was using before was slow, was always down when I needed it the most. And now I have this wonderful system that I rely on heavily to communicate with my leads, with my members, and I'm seeing such benefit, and it's in terms of reducing my manual workload.
I shopped different programs, and when I landed on PushPress, I felt like they were for me. And I loved the help behind the scenes at PushPress. Everyone I talked to is a gym owner themselves.
What appealed to me from the beginning was they actually cared about my business. That like these are real people who like I can communicate with, and like who are now like Facebook friends of mine or whatever, like follow me on Instagram. We send little stupid things back and forth to each other.
PushPress has been so helpful. They've truly mentored me on top of just being a software program.
PushPress for us has been so user-friendly, and the communication that I can get through their contact us so fast and efficiently has helped me in regards to finding and sorting out our leads, our scheduling.
Their products, being able to layer them on as you need them is really important too, because maybe a new gym owner isn't ready for PushPress Grow and how powerful it is. Maybe they just need the billing like I did. And then a year from now, they're ready to put something else in there.
It's a no-brainer. I don't know what the hell are you waiting for? Tell me what problems you're having, and I'll just tell you how PushPress solves them.
I don't know how I would be able to do all the things that I do as a sole business owner and a mom of 3 without the support of PushPress.
If you like this content, please subscribe to the podcast, but understand we work with affiliates. If you are interested in building your business, understanding strategy, building a better community, and building better coaches and careers for them, hit the link somewhere around this video, and we'd love to have a call with you.
Yeah, if you're getting in the business of buying gyms, you're really an investor now.
Correct.
But I think we have to separate, before we get any further,
an
investor and the guy who goes to a gym and finds out it's for sale. There's two different things. Like you two are talking on this like high level. I'm like some like venture capitalist essentially coming in.
That is the approach you should take.
But okay.
I guess even for that guy, they should be thinking in terms of...
They should be thinking about that.
But most of those guys are not willing to move. It's like, no, this is the gym for sale.
That doesn't... But okay, Cool. How often has that worked out?
I mean,
fucking never.
No, that's
very
not true.
rarely. Very rare. Dude, how many gyms have
But
we looked at where like a random guy in the gym bought it and then flipped it around and it was successful?
I would argue
no, but when they've done it under our tutelage, yes.
That's a different game, though.
But I'm saying those are the people we're helping. Like they're coming.
So my argument would be like, it doesn't work because they just recreate the whole exact same thing that happened in the first place.
Well, they didn't make any of the considerations you just asked. Certainly. But let's use a real-world example. We have a client, Pat, now who's buying an existing gym. And Marcus is helping him do it, right? And he's working through some of these exercises. You know, what are some of the things we'd be telling him?
So, everybody should still consider all the things we talked about. If you want to do this appropriately, but let's assume that
there's a difference between
let's go further down the road, right? So whether you do that version or not, you're going to end up doing whether you do that part or not, you end up getting to this part anyway, no matter what.
No, like if I went to a gym, I should 100% be doing what you're doing. Like, what are my skills? What's deficient? And just finding out, oh, this one's for sale, but it's not a good fit. Like, cool. Now I can explore what Dan's saying, looking elsewhere. What you're saying, are you willing to move or not?
Well, I mean, you're kind of dancing around and this is, I think, the issue, because you've been through this with PushPress, right? So you're jumping right to due diligence. That actually, and if you're looking at an acquisition, that's quite literally the last fucking thing that happens.
Because what's happening before?
All of this other stuff, which is like you're filtering a ton of different things, because in the event that you go do an actual acquisition, the last thing that happens is they're like, here's all the numbers, and then we confirm whatever the offer was going to be off of those numbers. But everybody just goes to like, hey, can I just see your financials? I'm like, is this even anything you should even entertain?
The interesting thing to this is like we're like, I think we immediately jump to this really heady because we understand this process, but most acquisitions, Jason's right. It's like some dude who comes to 5 a.m. who's been there for like 4 years, and it's like the owner's like, I want to sell it, and everyone takes a step back, and that one dude's just standing there, and he's like, okay, I guess I'll buy it then.
Yeah.
Like that's what's actually happening.
No, I know.
Yeah.
That needs to stop.
But
then the gym will die.
It's
the
not
gym will
going to
die
stop.
then.
And my point is that's not going to stop. So how do we help set that person up for success? Step one is I think one of you said, like, you have to be willing to say no. Like, just because you love this gym, this community, all those things, assuming you're telling me you want to make a smart financial, if you're willing to lose $100K, cool, say yes.
Well, listen, potential unpopular opinion here. Is that even a good thing? Is it good for somebody who's a non-operator who doesn't know how to do this? Is that a good thing for that CrossFit gym and that community?
No, they're keeping a relationship alive that should die.
Correct,
yeah.
Right? So that's kind of what I'm saying is like sometimes I think that is potentially best option, and somebody else can start to move into the market and do that, because I've seen, probably as you have, it's the same gym has changed hand 4 times, nothing has changed. And I would argue that's not good for anybody. Like, that's just a really crappy business. It's a really crappy business that just won't die.
They're better off going to the box down the road and joining their community.
I don't want any CrossFit affiliate to fail, but that's very naive as well.
I guess to marry the 2 points, if the guy at the gym who's feeling obligated to buy the gym because the whole community needs to stay together and I'm going to save it, doesn't buy the gym, and we're developing operators in areas that are savvy enough to say, like, I'm going to roll up 4 or 5 gyms in my area. Because what happens is it gets sold inside first.
Correct.
And if the insiders are like, I don't want to buy it, if they actually all say no, then there's actually an opportunity for another operator to say, like, I will put that in my portfolio or I will do that. So maybe it is good that doesn't happen. It just does all the time.
But let's assume let's go with it's someone within. They've explored what now?
You want like the textbook answer?
Yeah.
So typically you would have that criteria, and then you'd go through this process of basically just courting potential buyers, at which point Dan comes to me and is like, hey, I'm interested. Great. Maybe we do some sort of NDA process where I'm like, hey, I'm going to give you some information.
How many members we have, how much money, the taxes, etc.
Maybe not even that much at first, but like I give you some stuff, and then maybe he comes back and he's like, okay, based on what you've given me, I'm willing to proceed forward, and you would do what's called like an IOI.
LOI.
Right? Yeah. Well, there's IOI and
What's
LOI.
IOI?
IOI is indication of interest, right?
Okay.
So this is the difference between IOI and LOI. IOI is like, hey, I'm interested. This is based on what you've given me. Like, here's a rough range that I think it might be worth. And you're like, okay, that falls within my parameters for what I think I might sell it for. We've got this kind of zone of possible agreement that we're going to operate in, and now we start to share more information, and then eventually your LOI comes through, which is my letter of intent, and that's going to come with a number that will very likely change, but really what's outlined in there is like the terms. What's the terms of the purchase that we're going to do?
And if you're the buyer, I know you're going to say make the first offer.
Well, buyer or seller, typically in a negotiation, you want to go first.
Right. I mean,
unless it's an open market, like
make
you're
that
selling a
anchor
home.
price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just negotiating 101 is go first, so you can anchor where you want.
Because then you're like, I'm willing to give you $50K.
Yeah.
Changes the entire mindset of the seller who was like, I thought I was going to get $1 million.
Right. And then you get into actual due diligence of looking at the numbers and figuring out what the multiple might be.
Talking to customers.
Yeah, talking to customers and all that other kind of stuff. So it's actually it's a much more thorough process and I did it, and I did a lot of I maybe did 50% of the due diligence that I should have when I did it, because most of my due diligence was on the financials. I did a little bit with inside of the community, but there's other things that I think had I stuck around for, like the location problems that weren't readily apparent to me at first, I maybe would have made a different decision. And that's before I didn't have to define what I think would have been a good purchase for me, and just as a statement of fact, I was not prepared to operate multiple facilities. So I was just out over my skis on that one.
Yeah.
But I think I'm very much open to it now. Like, I would absolutely look at acquiring. I made an offer on a gym about a year ago. I was like, hey, if you want it, if you want to sell it, I'll sell it.
What happened?
They shut down.
So no.
We'd rather shut down than take your money. So
Yeah.
what comes next? IOI, LOI, and then
Term sheet.
Yeah, term sheet, and this is kind of like, as a buyer seller looking at, what is typically the seller is worried about the number, typically the buyer is worried about the terms, typically, right? Because the buyer's now got to carry the debt, figure out how to package it. Like, is it, how much am I gonna do? What's gonna be equity? How much am I gonna finance? Where's it coming from? Does that math work? Can the business carry it? All that kind of stuff.
So when you say
the shit that nobody wants to, everybody hates, right? All the accounting stuff.
you said no money down, what was your term?
I mean, what I did was completely outside the realm of like a typical purchase. We can talk about that in a sec if you want.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was cool. What I do want to say real quick is, I think for a $50,000 gym, all of that feels like overkill. But
I'm not saying you do the crazy version of it.
Well, I was actually going to say, like, when you consider you're going to be married to this gym 80 hours a week for the next 5 to 8 years, it's probably worth doing more work than zero. Because I think most people do about zero work.
Zero.
Yeah.
There's a number. Is there money in the bank?
Yeah.
Right, all those kind of things. So, yeah, no, I'm not suggesting there's this crazy long drawn out. Like, there is a CrossFit affiliate appropriate, dollar threshold appropriate variation of this that is streamlined but still checks all of the boxes.
You can do every single one of those steps, but you don't have to do the same amount of work of VC.
No, but you bring up a good point. Like, don't underdo this. Like, this is about to be a really serious.
It's not the money that's actually going to be the cost.
It's your time and energy.
Your life.
Yeah.
It literally will be your life.
And this is why I think that what we talked about earlier is so important. Like, you need to define that because, again, to Dan's point, this is not going to take up a little bit of your time. This is going to take up all of your time, all of your attention.
Well, when you say define it, like, I'll give you an example of where I would have failed, right? If you're like, hey, this is a box that has fantastic coaching and zero operations, you'd be like, don't buy it. Because you're not going to put you're a great coach.
Correct.
But you're not going to put operations in.
It's a bad match.
You're just going to continue to, there's no upside because it's going to continue to struggle.
Yeah, it's bad at the things you're bad at.
Right.
Preferably, I would like something that's deficient at the things I'm really good at because I can turn those around quick.
Yep.
Right.
If you're good with numbers and you look at it and you're like, oh, like I can make this profitable in 90 days.
Right.
Like,
but if you were like,
do a price increase, and we're good.
operations are dialed in, you just have to keep doing it. And there's a GM there, by the way, but their coaches are terrible. Go in and make them better.
Oh, I'm like, I can do that. That's easy.
Cool. That makes so tell us why yours was unusual.
Okay, so I caught wind that the gym around me was looking to sell.
This is LAX.
No, this is Torrance.
Torrance.
Caught wind that the gym around me was looking to sell. I hit up the owner, and I just told him, like, look, you come over and be a coach at my gym. Every member that you bring over to the gym, I'll pay you 75% of their monthly revenue for the first 3 months, 50% for the next 3 months, 25% for the next 3 months, and then 0. They're mine.
After a year or whatever.
Well, it was 9 months.
Yeah.
It was a 9-month rollout. And then basically, I just showed him the math, and I'm like, if you bring over all your members, you're going to end up getting paid like $80,000 or something.
Which is more than you're making.
Yeah. If you don't, it's up to you. If they churn, if they come and then they churn, you'll get paid nothing, and I have no risk. The only risk I had was like culture risk of new people coming through. But it was just a kind of like a software company buyout style version of like, I'm going to finance this with you, but you're going to get paid more than you would if I was going to give you cash up front.
And you're also motivated to help me.
And you're going to coach, so it's your job to retain them.
So this is an earn-out, like this is what he's talking about.
I built in an earn-out, so.
But I think that was unusual because you already had an existing location.
Yes, it doesn't work if you're buying a brand new.
But I think it could.
Well, actually, it could.
Yeah, right. Like if I were going to take over Dan's box, be like, hey, Dan, I need you to stand. You got 9 months more. But here, for every member that stays, you get the.
I think about this a lot, and I think we did this when we transitioned, and I recommend people do this when they transition from, like as the owner puts in a GM. I would do something very similar if I was going to purchase again, which is I would essentially have an NDA or make that not known until several months after we had completed. So there would be some variation of an earn-out, meaning like we wouldn't announce the sale until like 90 days post-close.
We kind of had to announce a merge because it was like, you're going to stop going to that gym, you're going to start going to this gym.
That's different.
Different than if they're staying put.
But if I could,
that's
I would.
Cool. Because then your members don't freak out.
Right. And be like, hey, this is a thing. It actually happened 3 months ago. And everybody's like, oh.
It's like when you give your kid vegetables.
You've taken away, you've taken away the reason.
You've taken away
the vegetables.
Right, you already ate the vegetables, right? And we did that when we transitioned Cassidy to the GM. When I announced it, I said, hey, Cassidy's a GM, but we did this 3 months ago. And everybody was like, oh, nothing changed. Right. I announced that we're like, everything's going to fucking change.
That's a really great point for a lot of gyms, even if you're doing programming change, right?
Well, and the reason I bring that up is because we all know how fickle the communities are.
You're moving the rowers.
Yeah. It's so you kind of have to fact, and this is where I was talking about, there are unique circumstances for CrossFit gyms that have to be taken into account here, but they're not really about the money. They're about like the people. How do I manage all of these people in this transition? And that's arguably more important than the money. Like the money in most instances, as long as you're not a dum-dum, will work out. What will not work out is if 25% of those people just exit stage left immediately because there was a bad rollout strategy for this.
That's why I didn't want to put any money up front.
Right.
So I'm like, I could, no matter, and this works in software too, because like sometimes we'll be like, should we just buy that company? And then we're like, well, the minute we do, every one of their clients is going to be like, well, we might as well demo every other software, and we're only going to get some percentage of them. So it's like, you don't know what that's going to be. So you putting any money down, it means like the ROI could go from like really good to absolutely terrible. And that's a risk I just couldn't take.
I think it's much less risky in the context of a CrossFit affiliate because the dollar figure's going to be so low in most instances.
Yeah, but you're just talking in percentages. Like you said, like if for whatever reason you announce this thing and one coach is like, you know what, I'm going to go coach at the other gym, and then like 30% of people go with them.
Right.
And then that sale looks so different if you paid up front.
Very different.
Yeah.
Well, but this is, again, how you structure it, right? So structure it so that it's safe and secure for both parties, which is, hey, is it going to be maybe 50% up front and then pay out over 36 months? Like, this is where the terms come in. So how do you bake in a scenario that is safe for the buyer, but effectively mitigates your risk from fallout if I just cut you a check and then you run and shit like ask for a non-compete? Why not? Hey, I'm going to buy this thing. I want to cut you a check, but like you have a non-compete within this radius for the next 5 years.
Although I would say, I don't know if this is still true, that used to not be allowed by CrossFit.
I don't know if that applies on acquisition, though.
You're saying it's just like if you coach for me, you can't coach elsewhere?
That's coaches, right? But listen.
I had a non-compete in my bio.
Here's the deal, like that, and this is a question for not me because I'm not an attorney, but that may not be enforceable, meaning that non-compete may not be enforceable or the bare
Whether
minimum
it's
they're going to be
enforceable-
State.
right. So like that may not even
but
matter.
CrossFit can enforce it by saying, well, you can't be an affiliate.
Yeah.
Right.
That's different.
Right. So
I mean, I had one and I abided by it because we had it in our contract for the buyout. That we
I
had
don't
15
actually
miles.
don't think it's in there anymore, but
I know it used to be.
yeah, for sure used to be. So that's. I think it's. I think everybody wants to go to the numbers, and I think the numbers are last, and the numbers will be very obvious anyway. So it's like you don't even really need to talk about them that much. Like you do need to know them, but like once you get there, it will be a very hard no or a hard yes once you get there for the most part. But it's all the other shit that anytime I've ever seen one, it's unless somebody just pays a gross over amount, it's never the financials that kill the deal. Never. Now, I've seen a couple that killed the deal because somebody paid astronomical amount for a gym that was making no money, right? But most of the time, it's everything else that kills the
That's just when they let emotion get in the way.
Yeah, everything else kills the buyer post acquisition.
So one thing I see in the groups a lot is like, how do I value my company, right? Do you have? I have my own opinion on that. What do you?
Well,
what
let's
do you guys
pause
think?
right there.
You want to go on the
let's
sell
talk
side?
about it in
So that's
sales.
selling.
Yeah,
That's
so-
selling. But
But it's
as
also
a buyer,
on the buy side because you should
yeah.
know what the
But
front
as a
is.
buyer,
come
you
on,
have to know this.
We'll come at it from the
This
flip.
is the biz. This is the
This is
yeah,
a
the
teaser.
tease.
You got to
You
go
wanna
watch
come back for-
episode
It's almost
2.
like I knew.
But any other talking points you have as far as buying the gym? So like broadly speaking, make sure you do your due diligence. Don't let emotion get in the way. Know your super skill. Know their weakness. Put the research in because it's not about the money you're spending. It's the time, energy in your life that you're about to give away. And then potentially structure a smart buyout that's not, whether it's an earnout or a low money down. And
Incentive alignment's always important,
Yeah.
right? Like make sure people's incentives are aligned with the outcomes for everybody.
Yeah, the
Which is
only
kind of there now.
Yeah, the only other thing I would add to that is more tactics with regard to post-acquisition operating, which is the mistake that I made, is make sure that you can leave your current business, like if you're going to do multiple locations, for pretty significant bouts of time in order to get this one up and running, and do not think that you're going to be able to take your current staff and double them up across facilities. Like you're going to need to do that with a full new staff, which is why it's going to need all of your time and
you're
attention.
talking to somebody who already owns an affiliate and are purchasing a second, third, fourth, etc. But yes, that's absolutely right. That
like,
even
I'll
within
just
the
do
company
both.
we do
No,
that.
you won't.
We're like, hey, you're on the media team, but this is media for this.
Like, so for instance,
Right.
Max just bought another one in Martha's Vineyard. So Max owns
Yes.
7. So
7
Max is
affiliates.
he's our multi-location guru for affiliate owners and affiliate university. And when he bought that, he went up to Martha's Vineyard for like 10 days. And he's got 6 other gyms.
Right. So
Like,
if you
you
can't
need-
be there, it's like opening a new franchise of Chipotle.
Just don't be fooled into thinking that you're not going to be spending significant amounts of time there. Like, you bought something that for the most part we agree is a distressed asset, meaning like it's not running well. You giving it a little bit of attention is not going to work out.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to go over there and you're going to have to fix a lot of shit, and it's going to have to be an intense integration of you. Particularly if you're talking about culture issues, like you're going to need to be present for that.
And I guess no matter what you have going on in your life, whether it's another affiliate, a marriage that is great or not great, you're going to college, whatever it is that you have going on in life, all of that you have to be able to put on hold for like 30, 60, 90 days straight.
Yeah.
So you can focus on this new.
Yeah, because it's going to be, this is before you find out where all the dead bodies are buried in that scenario.
Like, like you spend the first 30 days finding dead bodies, and the next 60 days excavating and cleaning, right? Is what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
All right, dead bodies aside, we just taught you how to buy a gym. If you have more questions, these two are great people to reach out to. You can check out, by the way, if you're buying a new gym, potentially want to use PushPress as
Good
your
time to
software.
switch.
Yeah, it's good.
That's actually a great time to switch.
Fern's obviously got the answers, and then we have Max Isaac on our team, amongst many other coaches that will help you do it well. But tune into the next episode where we're going to talk all about how to sell your gym.
That guy right there sold his gym for a nice check. Thanks for checking out this episode of the Best Hour of Their Day podcast. We appreciate you listening and choosing to have us help you in your passion for coaching and affiliate ownership. You can find more episodes just like this on all podcast platforms. If If you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to us on any social media platforms, or you can visit www.besthouroftheirday.com to book a call. If you found this episode helpful for you, please share it so that we can help other coaches and affiliate owners to help build a bigger and stronger CrossFit community. Thanks for listening.